of Karak. This is the last one before Ramadan, so thank you guys so much for being here. It means a lot. Today we're gonna be talking with legends. We got Marwan and we got Jamal over here, who's guest slash co-host. Yeah?
Something like that.
Something in between. He's still deciding. But at the same time we have people at the Bacala. We got Pink and Greens out in front. You should definitely go and check their juices out. Super healthy, super everything. And we also got Northwood. They're selling watches, straps, all of that. And the whole idea behind doing this is support like local brands that exist in Dubai. We feel like if a lot of events like this don't happen, they wouldn't actually get the exposure that they require, and so we want to make sure that we're only keeping local brands, artists, talent, all of that. If you guys don't know, my name is Faisal. I'm the co-founder of Karak, and we started this platform to showcase the local creatives, local artists, everyone doing amazing things in Dubai as a way of showcasing their journey in order to inspire the next generation of creatives that would want to pursue something like this. And we're gonna start. So we're gonna walk through Jamal and Marwan's journey first, and then we're gonna go into certain topics within the industry. It's gonna then turn into like an open conversation. All of you guys are welcome to put your hands up. We're gonna pass the mic around, and we're just keeping it super casual.
Yeah, the crazier the questions, the better.
Yeah.
Before we start, I hope this is okay. I'm not derailing everything.
I don't know if you're doing a Kanye West thing.
No, it's okay. Because I literally see silhouettes, okay? Like I can't see anyone, but I hope that you guys are comfortable right here. So just to make sure we're comfortable, I just want to hear you right now, okay? So we're just gonna do something right now, okay? So when I say on the moon, hold on, sorry. When I say on the, I want you to say the moon, okay? Ready? On the moon. On the moon. Okay, that was good. I'm gonna do it one more time, okay? When I say intro, you say vert, okay? Ready? Intro. Vert. Intro. Vert. And we can start the show.
Now start beatboxing.
Huh?
I thought you were gonna beatbox.
I can't beatbox. I lied. If you're here for beatbox, I'm sorry. I lied, and I'm going to continue to lie for the rest of the day.
That's what it's called. Fair enough, man. So, this has been a long time coming. I've been trying to get Marwan to hop on the show for like a year now, bro. It's been a while.
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna put you on the spot.
I'm sorry.
What'd you do? I'm joking.
Yeah, what's up?
You know what? The funny thing is, like, I'm so comfortable being behind the screen, recording at my own pace, saying whatever I want to say, and if I don't like it, I delete it, I start again. So for me to come here and like talk, like it's nerve-wracking, but at the same time, there's so many beautiful faces in front of me. My wife is over there. I love you so much. Give it up to the house tonight. So, thank you guys for having me, and I'm glad to do this now.
Yeah, man. So let's get into it, right? So Marwan is one of the most like established creatives in my opinion, and I would say general consensus within the scene in Dubai. How did you get started? Like, what was your journey like? What did you try to pursue at the start, and how did you become the person that you are today?
Okay, so do you guys want the long story or the short story? Like the long story.
Yeah, give us a drama.
Okay. I'll try to give you guys as much drama as possible. The funny thing is like when I came into the scene, I had zero credentials. I'm originally a computer engineer. Shout out to engineering. So I had a computer engineering degree, but ever since I was a kid, like I always liked to draw, I always liked to create. I just, someone like from my era, I want to say, like, it did not feel like something that you can pursue. Like for me, it was either a doctor or an engineer or a teacher, and
or a failure.
So, I kept it on the side. I kept doing it on the side just for my own sake. And I would sell drawings from time to time. When I was like 5 years old, I had like a network of like Dragon Ball Z drawings that I would sell, and I had mules at the same time. And like at that point, like in my head, I was like, yo, I can run an empire. But then my dad was like, yeah, but I need you to go back to study. So I did that, but you know, it always stayed in the back of my mind. And then by, I don't know, 2016, I kept freelancing on the side. And it's so crazy because like when you freelance, it's like, you don't have anything to show. Like you just have to be like, to come up to a client and be like, yo, trust me. And he was like, I'll pay you 100 dirhams. I trust you. I don't care what you're gonna do with it. Just do it. So I kept doing those, a lot of 100 dirham, you know, gigs here and there. And by the time, you know, I established myself a little bit, and now I'm talking to you guys. So
Does that mean you stopped the 100 dirham gigs?
a long time ago.
Just trying to see if we can finesse you, bro. Damn, bro. And what about you, Jamal? Because we're trying to soft launch you as a co-host over here with a lot of like creatives. And I feel like before we get into that, we need to have everyone else hear who you are, bro. Who are you?
That's crazy. Okay, so everybody knows me as Jamal. My first name is Mutawashe, and I came to Dubai in 2019, May 2nd at 6 a.m.
It's a Drake track, by the way.
Yeah, I had no idea what I wanted to do in my life. At that point in time, I actually wanted to do computer science engineering. Yeah, crazy. Yeah.
Crazy.
But yeah, I wanted to do computer science engineering, but when I landed here, I was very unimpressed with what I saw. And I was uninspired, and I did not know what I wanted to do in my life. So I spent like the first 4 months here being a hardcore gamer, Call of Duty, the entire time, day and night. You know, I had my homie in the back, he was there watching me. Like, he would go to uni, right? And come back and find me in the exact same sport playing Call of Duty. Like, it was that bad.
And the scene was the problem.
Bro.
And the scene is not inspired.
But yeah, anyway, so I wanted to buy more stuff from Call of Duty. Wait, can I curse?
Like a little bit.
You get 5.
Yeah, 5. And then after that, you gotta put some money in the.
Damn. Alright, okay. So yeah, I wanted to buy more stuff from Call of Duty, and it was expensive. And I had no money, so I was like, okay, maybe I need to start taking my life seriously. And then from there, I kind of just shifted my addiction from Call of Duty to the gym. And then somehow from there, like I just got addicted. Like I'd spent 16 hours in the gym working out. And yeah, it was insane. So from there, I ended up being a personal trainer. How? I have no idea. And then from there, I had a homie of mine, Ishaq, who is in the back right now. He was, yeah, shout out to Ishaq over there. So he was studying fashion at the time, and he was just like, yo, I don't have a model, do you mind showing up and modeling for me? And I was like, I mean, I'm not doing anything with my life right now, so sure, why not? And then that's how it started. Like I just started working with him, we're doing more stuff, and the first time okay, that's a lie. I would say the first year, I had no idea what I was going to do, but I feel like even up to now, I still have no idea what modeling is. You know, I just go there, I show up, and somehow people like the vibe.
What do you mean? How long have you been modeling for?
Professionally?
Yeah.
About almost 3 years now. Yeah, almost 3 years now.
I think by now you kinda have an idea.
Nah.
Like you show up, you do JoJo poses. Like I see my guy doing all of those.
Yeah.
Like you definitely know what you do.
Trust me when I say I have no idea what I'm doing. Like, I've had a couple people approach me and be like, yo, how do you model? How do you do this? How do you do that? And I'm like, bro, I have no clue. Just get out there and play your favorite song in your head and just move to that. If that doesn't work, man, I don't know. Finding 9 to 5.
The crazy thing is, because like as a photographer, I always wonder what the model is thinking in front of me. Because like the thing is like when you're working with photographers, they look so scary in front of you. Like there's like, you know, if you ask them like for no feelings, nothing, and give you like, you know, that face, you never know what's going on through their mind. Mind you, with time, you don't care because like the pictures turned out good. Thank you.
Thanks.
But I'm, I'm glad, you know, you were just there and like, you know, you got a little song in your head. That's nice. That's wholesome.
Yeah, like, you know, you're just there, you're just vibing it out. If they tell you like, okay, they want something like this, then, you know, you just try to emulate that. It's not like I go there with a specific mindset, just like, okay, so I'm gonna go here, I'm gonna do this type of pose, and I'm gonna show up, and I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna do that. No.
That's
I
nice.
literally just show up, and God takes over.
Yeah, but I feel like when you do this like professionally, don't you get like a type of like mood board or something like that the client sends you, so you know what you're supposed to be doing like beforehand?
Yes, that does happen, but not all the time.
Right.
There are some cases where it's like, you're just told, oh yeah, so we need you to show up at this point at this time, it's gonna be for this long, and we're paying you this much. And you're like, sure.
I feel like a lot of times on set, no one knows what one wants.
Facts.
There's someone paying you money, and this is like the only fact that I know. You show them the Pinterest board, and once you get there, they're like, yeah, okay, but have you seen this thing that's so out of my budget? Can you do it as well? And I'm like, yeah, we'll figure it out. And then, you know, Jamal on this side with la la la.
Whole time in my head, wait till I get my money.
That's crazy, whoa. But coming down to that, so you've been in the creative industry. You've started off as a computer engineer, like both of you.
Yeah.
I have a question for both of you. What's wrong with computer engineering?
Okay. Nothing is wrong with being an engineer of any sort. And yes, if you identify as an engineer today, we love you, we respect you, we appreciate you, Khalid. No, I mean, for me personally, it's like, I did 5 years of engineering, 1 year internship. My internship was with BlackBerry. The year they were like collapsing, it was hella scary. It was, I don't want to get into that, but anyway, it's literally like on my very last year when I started to realize that computer engineering is not for me. It's not like, it's such a beautiful place where you can be as creative, you can be as, you know, as cool or whatever, but it's just for me, I felt like, you know, I picked up a camera that 1 year during my internship, and like in my mind, I was like, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to keep on doing. The fact that I can, you know, express myself and people would like resonate with it in one way or another, through photography, through animation, through whatever I'm doing, like, to me, like that feeling is something that I keep chasing till this day. And like, I can't get enough of it. And I don't think I would have gotten that from coding. But we love you, Khalid. Don't worry. Yes.
That's beautiful, man.
And I have to agree, because even for me, I just got to a point where it was like, I thought about my future and I'm like, yeah, computer science is not it, you know. It's cool, like, back, like, when I was younger, I used to be the kid that everyone would go to when they had tech problems, you know? Like, I was that kid. Like, if you have tech problems or if you need a specific game that hasn't launched yet, but somehow Jamal got it, you know, people come to me. But at the same time, I was just like, yeah, this is not it, you know. And even when I started working with Ishaku, when I started modeling with him, it was like I enjoyed that process more. And I even went to, I don't know if you know this, but I even went to Gulf Photo Plus, and I was studying photography for a bit. Yeah, crazy.
Okay.
And, but then I was like, yeah, that's cool, but I kind of like enjoy being in front of the camera more for some reason. And, you know, since then, I've just always been in front of it.
And now you've been also dabbling in a little bit of post-production.
Yeah.
Last I remember.
Yeah. Now I'm into, back to behind the camera. Not fully, not full time, not yet anyway, but like right now I'm just exploring what I like, because the whole being a creative thing is very new to me, It's never something that I grew up with. I was being told, oh yeah, you're such a creative, or you're this and that. Nah, this literally just came on the job, and I was working, and then, they're like, oh, that's just creative. I'm like, okay, sure. And I still even don't know what that means yet, but I'm still figuring out, I'm still exploring. That's why now I'm like doing a bit of post-production. I'm doing a lot of the editing, working behind the scenes, trying to get into the corporate mode, just to understand both sides, so that even when I'm in front of the camera, I know what's going on.
By the way, I don't know who's the guest, who's the host at this point. It's just it's just three guys talking,
It's
and I
called
love
conversation.
it.
It's called conversation.
Yeah. But I did want to ask you, Jamal, if I can, because the funny thing is like, and this is no shade of Faisal at all, but on your poster today it said you're a model.
Yeah.
And I feel like here in Dubai, like that's not Dubai, like everywhere else you go, is that people want to put you within a box so quickly and like label you as that. Like, you're a model, you're a designer, you're an art director or whatever. It's just, for the sake of like knowing what you are capable of. But I feel like for you, like now that you're talking, because like I've seen like the latest drops that you put on Instagram, the one with the snow, and you lied to people and told them it was man, I loved it. But like it for you, like, you did not stay within that box, like you ventured out. So like how was that for you? Like how was that process for you, like to just dabble into other things?
Damn, that's a very great question. One thing I will say is, when I first started out, right, I purely just wanted to be a model. I wanted nothing more. I didn't want to be an influencer, creator, none of that. I just wanted to model, and that was it for me. But then I realized in the city that I'm in, I can't exactly just do that, especially if I'm just starting from scratch. I can't just pull up and be like, oh yeah, guys, I'm a model, It just won't work. Sure, I might get gigs here and there, but I won't be consistent. So it was more of like, okay, so now if I want to be a model, I also have to do social media on the side. I also have to be an influencer. I also have to do like all these other things. I have to go to events, I need to do this. And it was just like, I hated it at first. Like, I still remember the first gig that I got where I had to, I'm not gonna mention the store, but I took over a certain page on Instagram, and I had to go live, and I had to like post stories of me doing stuff. I absolutely hated that process. That was the worst thing that I could have ever done. Still the worst thing that...
Say their name.
Whisper it.
Yeah, but but yeah, it was, just being a model on its own was not enough. It still is not enough if you're here. Just being a model is not enough. Like, you have to do social media, you have to do all these other things, and for me, I feel like that's where I kind of had to like, okay, so now I have to embrace being a quote-unquote influencer. Now I have to embrace being all these other things, and it was just like, wow, that's too much.
I think that also transcends to like every industry in this day and age. You cannot be successful by just doing one thing. And if you're a model, you have to be a model plus a superhero plus a, like plus, and that's what makes you unique, and that's what makes you stand out from everyone else.
But here's the thing, though. What I realized as well while working here was like, okay, sure, yes, I can be a model, I can be doing the whole social media thing, I can also like dabble into post-production and all that. It's, as much as you can succeed with being one thing, you realize that even the people higher up, they just want you to be one thing. So it's like, okay, even if I venture into all this post-production, I'm doing all this, it kind of confuses, quote unquote, confuses the people on the higher up, where it's like, they look at you and it's like, okay, so what is he? Is he a model? Is he working in post-production? Is he an editor? Like, what's going on?
I feel like it's more of like, what can you do for me? And the thing is, it's like right now we have the multi-hyphen creative, and as much as people love to dabble into all these things, by the end of the day, like for a business owner or whatever, they're like, all right, cool, you can animate, you can do this, you can do that, but what can you do for me right now, and what does that suit my, my needs? But when the thing is like for you as a creator right now, it's like, and the whole thing with you being, quotation marks, an influencer, is like what you need to do right now. It's less about you being a multi-hyphen, but you more bringing your personality and your soul into whatever that you do. Because by the end of the day, you want people like, whatever you do, if it's editing, if it's photography, if it's modeling, if it's design, whatever it is, people need to see your DNA in it. And that's how people are gonna be like, I want Marwan. It's not, I want a photographer, I don't want a designer, no, I want Jamal, I want anti-muse. He's looking scary as hell right now. I don't know. But people like, what you can do is like bring your DNA into things and like embed your work with like your DNA, your personality as much as you can, and then the product becomes you as a person. Like they want you and not what you do.
Yeah, I mean 100%, and I completely agree with that. And just to go back on the whole like poster thing, the reason why it says model is because your Instagram says model. So that's one of the main reasons. But the things I completely get that, and because I kind of fall into the same boat of like, yes, I do interior design, now we do like production, now I do like graphic design, do like color grading, do all of these things, and like when I'm approaching a client, they're like, okay, what do you do? Like, that it's so hard to sell yourself that way. And then even touching back to like your artwork and like the message that you're giving out that actually plays in artists' heads, is like, you then start to feel like, am I actually the jack of all trades? And like, do you think that clients actually look at you and say, okay, since he can do all of these things, is he like worth hiring?
That's very true. It's like, I had to do the Drake side for a second. It's not just the fact that you're being brought in as a jack of all trades, and like as much as like this is what is needed, you need to definitely be a master of at least like 90% of what you do. You need to be able like to do everything to the up like the highest quality possible, and that's when you're gonna make more sense. I feel like at this point, like there's people who come to me for very specific things and they're happy to just come for me for these specific things. But what I always value more, especially with like dealing with another person, is the fact that they're open for me to go off a tangent. Like they're happy for me to like, I came in as, a photographer, but I'm like, you know what, I'm sorry, like this is cool, but we can do this so much better if we dabble into this medium. And I think this is what what makes you more appealing to people, because creativity is not just the act of you doing something. Creativity is you linking two things that people never thought would be linked, and when it's in a place or a medium people did not anticipate you to do, it's magical. So you always have to like play around with that.
And I think touching back to what you said about like clients actually giving you the flexibility to go on a tangent, that is earned.
Yeah.
No one's just gonna come up to you and be like, yo, you know what? Figure this shit out. Like, just do it. But in that regard, what would you say was like your best project where you were able to be Marwan?
Damn.
You know what? There's two that I want to mention today. And I'm gonna mention the first one because Soundbirds are here. I can't see where they are, but shout out Soundbirds, shout out Soldier. They're somewhere over there, but regardless, I worked with them recently on the album for Soldier, Deja Vu. But the thing that I absolutely loved is the freedom that they gave me with the visuals in the show during Soldier XP. They had no idea, they haven't seen anything while they're performing. They had like to look back and like they saw like the 3D heads and they're like, oh shit.
That's crazy.
Which is something that I really appreciated, because like to me was something that I never did before. But I was given the flexibility to do that, or like just like the trust So give it up one time to Soldier and Soundboards over there. I love you. The other one would definitely be Gossamer, which is my first and only collaboration with my wife. Hi there. What I love about that is that it was truly childish. Like when I say childish, I don't mean as in like it's silly. No, it was two people being childish and creative together in their approach and how they are dealing with the art that they're working on and the thing that they want to put together. And we invited other people into this world of ours. We had people who like collaborated with us, and it just like bubbled up more and more. And like by the end of it, like the end piece was not just my work or Rehab's work or the other creators' work. It was like everyone coming in together. And this childishness in collaboration is something that like you cannot like find something like that. Like this is something that you have to seek in every project that you get.
100%, bro. 100%. I completely agree with that. And I'm sure, like throughout your journey of like going through all of these things and being able to achieve the accolades that you did, what would you say was your biggest like turning point in your career?
Turning point. You know what? I think my turning point was my first biggest failure, which is something I don't talk about a lot. I feel like this is something that a lot of photographers relate to, is like their first gig where they fumble. Like everything does not go right. Pictures come overexposed, underexposed. The model is blinking, it's horrendous. And I think like to me, like that first failure, which was a shoot in 2016, I will never forget, in Toronto. I was brought in as someone who's supposed to do editorial shots. I was supposed to give my client 20 pictures. I gave them 3.
What?
Thank you.
And that's how you ended up in Dubai.
That's when I had to back up and do the Fresh Prince of Dubai. But like for me, like I fumbled so badly with like that shoot.
Please tell me it wasn't right.
Huh?
Please tell me it wasn't
No.
right.
No. It wasn't. They paid me $100. It wasn't even worth it. But the idea that I flopped that hard, from there and therefore, everything that I've done has been revenge on that one moment. I always like wanted to exact revenge on that Marwan who failed, and I did not want to repeat that. And not to say like failure is bad. No, I highly urge you to fail in a way that's gonna help you like to progress and like see what you've done within that failure and like how you can grow from it. But God damn it, I didn't want to fail that day.
Hey man, failure is important. Failure is important. Because I hear it though. Because even for me, recently I had, you were there. I experienced anxiety for the first time in my life. I experienced anxiety with being around people, and I absolutely hated it. It was the worst thing in my life. And for me, it came to a point where I was like, I had looked at myself before and I was like,
can I give you a hug?
I'm just very curious because you don't seem like someone who would be anxious in a situation like this.
Exactly.
Example.
I was surprised. I was like, bro, what the hell is this? You're like, why am I feeling this way? And it was the worst thing ever. But I remember even before I even got to that, like I was already feeling anxious. So I called Marwan to be there, and he showed up. My mom, and I was just like, yeah, I just needed them around. But since then, I have never, ever let myself feel that way again, Not because there's anything wrong with that, but just for me, I'm just like, yeah, what I did there could never happen again. So now every time, no matter where I show up, no matter like what event it is or whatever, best believe I'm pulling up 1,000% energy, because I'm just like, you'll never see me again being like, oh my God, yeah, I need a hug. Or like, not saying I don't want hugs, but I'm just like, yeah, just being in that low point and just, not accepting what's going on. Yeah.
I will never. No, I hear revenge season on that moment.
Hey, plus, speaking of which, greatest failures. There's this one shoot I was still starting out, by the way. I'm not gonna mention the photographer, but it was the worst thing ever. They.
Was it? I feel like I know.
No.
Okay.
It wasn't. But let's just say the photographer made my teeth white. He put paint all over me. It was, it was crazy.
Like
it was
in the editing or
in the editing.
Okay.
In the editing, and it was Let's just say I never showed up again.
You know what's crazy? You know what's crazy? The thing is, what people don't understand is like a photographer job is not just taking really cool pictures. It's like you need to understand the person in front of you, how they want to be represented and how they want to look. Like you can't just like take the picture and like be like, all right, see you.
Facts.
Yeah.
Which is why for every aspiring model out there or whatever industry you're in, you need to know who you're going to work with. You also need to know who you're working with in and out so that you know exactly what to expect and what the outcome is most likely going to be. Because if you just go out there and you just work with anyone and you don't really have an idea of a background of like where they're coming from or where they want to go, you might just end up in a pickle.
I mean, but you're talking from a perspective of like test shoots, like something that's more collaborative. Because when it comes to like jobs, especially
No.
it's more like what the
When you're still building your portfolio.
100%.
When it comes to the other stuff, you have no control whatsoever. Especially if you're a model, just accept your L and move on. There's nothing you can do about it. Just accept your L. Don't post it anywhere. And move on.
But what is that like for you? Like right now, you're a model. Are you like a freelancer, or are you represented by an agency? Like, what's the deal, bro?
So right now I'm doing both. I'm represented by an agency, but I'm also doing freelancing. So I'm not exclusive with the agency.
Okay.
Because I still want to be able to do the things that I want to do without talking to someone and be like, yo, I need permission to do this. Because I did that the first time, and it wasn't a vibe. So. Freelancing and non-exclusive contracts.
Right, because I do feel like a lot of models do feel more comfortable being represented exclusively by an agency versus, doing what you're doing. It's more of a hybrid situation.
No, of course, and I feel like if you're more comfortable being represented, go do that. Because at the end of the day, if you're getting your bag, do what you gotta do. Do whatever you gotta do to get your bag. But like, if you're on an exclusive contract and you're not getting paid and you're not getting as much gigs, you might want to rethink that.
100%. But what is that contrast like, especially in the fashion industry that you're in? Like, why did you pick freelancing over actually being represented exclusive?
Okay, so when I first got on, I would say
look over there. Look over there.
Emma Doom in the corner right there.
So when I first got on, I got signed to an agency, and it was a really good agency. It was a great experience. I got exposed to the industry very quickly. It was around the time that I think I did a GQ shoot, right? Yeah, it was around that time. That's when I got signed to an agency, and it was fun because at that time I was, the new kid on the block. It was all hype. Everyone was, so hyped to meet me. And I remember I went to my first event. It was the Valentino thing, and I was so hyped to meet everyone. It was such I was so overwhelmed with meeting the people that I usually saw on Instagram, like running Dubai.
How do you feel now?
I'm so hyped. I'm so hyped. But then it got to a point where I had to accept that for my personal growth, I kind of blew up too early. And because of that, I did not get to grow the way I needed to be as a model, as an influencer, as a creator, because I was already put on the spotlight and I was just told to swim with the sharks, you know? And it was a great experience, don't get me wrong, and I wouldn't have it any other way, but then I'm looking at it back now and I'm like, maybe I should have waited a little longer. Maybe I should have worked more on myself, I should have worked more on the projects that I was doing and gained more knowledge about myself and the stuff that I was doing, so that by the time I'm in the industry, I know what the hell I'm doing. Because now it's just like, yeah, I'm quote unquote in the industry, but then I can't say I've grown the way I should have, because now it's like I'm just literally growing on the job. You know, it's like, okay, I didn't know I can't do this on a shoot, or like I didn't know I can't do this at events. Right? It was just stuff like that, and I was just like, yeah, man.
You know, I think the crazy thing is, it's like, you know, once you plunged into this thing that, you know, this thing of ours, I don't know what to call it, to be honest, but I think you don't get enough time to think about like your trajectory or like where you're going, and like it's so important. And I'm very proud of you, like that you took the time, like, and you took the agency of like figuring out what works for you, what you want for yourself, and like where that, you know, how that can translate, which is not a lot of people get like that, you know, that you know, freedom to do that, or like the time to do that. So it's really good for you, like, to take that time.
No, for sure. And I feel like it also came with a lot of sacrifices, because it was more of like, when I left the agency, I couldn't go with the I couldn't go to certain events because people still didn't know me. But eventually, when I started working on myself and I started getting better with myself, I enjoyed the entire process of like finding myself and meeting other people, like-minded people who are really cool. You know, how I met you on the job, and it was it's an experience that I think everyone needs to go through. You know, it's like, especially if you want to be a model, it's like, don't be quick to go for the hype, to like, oh, I want to go to these events, I want to do this, I want to do that. I feel like, work on your portfolio, learn the things you need to learn, you know, and once you're confident with yourself about that, go crazy.
Can I just add one thing? I feel like, I hope like this does not get me blacklisted or anything, but the work does not happen in the events. Like, everything that, you know, these creatives put together does not take place in the events. Everything you do outside of these events is what gets you there. Like, I don't know if like anyone wants to go to like these events, but it's not about being at the event. It's about everything that you do outside, and that's where the work happens. So just, you gotta work.
I mean, yeah, you gotta create your personality first in order for these brands to see your personality as part of what they're doing as well. 100%, man. But yeah, and then like coming down to, and I think like the journey that you had is definitely, I feel like everyone has their own journeys. You had it the other way in comparison to most people, but you're still here reflecting back at, you know, everything that happened, and you're trying to do what you think is best for you as well.
Yeah, honestly, because thinking about my journey and, you know, how I'm even here right now in front of you guys speaking, 4 years ago, I would have never thought this would occur, you know? Like this, it was never even on the blueprint, on the plan. Matter of fact, I'm gonna tell you right now, I have no plan, I have no clue what I'm gonna do the next year or two, only tomorrow, because I go work. But like, besides that, I literally have no idea. It's more of a, Jesus took the wheel and I'm in the back seat and I'm just chilling. So shout out to God.
Yeah, I mean, you're just doing what feels good and it's getting you places. You know? Like, shout out. But in comparison to you living that hybrid type of like career at this point, I would say, Marwan, you're focusing more. You started off freelancing, right? And you have your reasons why. And now you're back into, you know, working your job. Like, what was that journey like, and why did you make those choices?
I mean, okay, so I feel like for me personally, I think freelancing did everything that I could possibly do on my own. Because when you are freelancing, you are literally doing things by yourself. If you don't do anything, nothing is gonna happen. Like
Facts.
that's just how it is. So like for me as a freelancer, as much as I would go out there, do my own thing, network and whatever, there's always a cap, and that cap is budget. By the end of the day, you are always limited by whatever the budget of the person that you're talking to, and as much as as high that you can go up in all these things, and I'm pretty sure there's a lot of freelancers who did this on their own. It's so difficult for you to place yourself in the meeting room where decisions are being made. And for me, I feel like that's something that I wanted to do for myself. I didn't want to be the person who gets like the final brief, and this is what it is, and now for me, like, this is what you should execute. I wanted to be the person in the room who can, who can have a voice, who can be heard, who can like talk and whatever. And I'm not gonna lie, like it's so much work for you to do that, like for you to be, in a 9 to 5, just being an art director and whatever, and just like doing that every day, like it's a lot of work. But for you to be able to go into a room and have a voice, especially for someone like me who like, I'm such an outsider like to this whole industry. Like I wanted to be heard as much as everyone else. So for me, I think like that is one major reason for me that made me switch from freelance to be in 9 to 5. Even though sometimes like during my 9 to 5, I would be working on a campaign for chips or some shit. Like it doesn't. It's not always something glamorous. It's not always something beautiful, but for you to like rack up that experience, and for you to interact with like all these intelligent and creative minds, you have to be put in that place. So and again, not to say that you cannot get there through freelancing. It's just for me, I wanted to do that, and I was also trying to get married, so I needed to pay for the wedding. So yeah, I walked to the 9 to 5 with like shackles, and I was like, all right.
Okay, wait.
One more time for weddings. One more time.
My brother's there, he's at 3 with the same person. So like,
But I'm curious though. So you mentioned, working with people and all that. Also, for those of you guys who don't know, Marwan hates being called a photographer. He hates it. So that's why he goes by visual arts director. And my question to you is, when did you make that switch from hating being called a photographer to
You know what it
visual
is?
art director?
Give me a bag and call me whatever you want at this point. No, I'm playing. I think like for me, like as a visual art director, well, an art director, that is like my job title. Like that's on a contract somewhere in Dubai government, like that's what's under my name. But for me, like that's what I do from 9 to 6. But after that, like I will come to you in whatever label or capacity is possible. I don't mind being called a photographer as long as you keep in mind that that's not all I am. Like you can call me photographer, you can call me animator. I don't know why I get called animator. I did it like 3 times. Like I did like 3 music videos animations, and like every single time, like I did it as just an experiment, and it just got stuck. But again, like it doesn't matter what the label that you give me, as long as I get to exercise and money, exercise that muscle in me, I'm more than happy.
I mean, they call you an animator because you did it,
Facts.
It doesn't.
right? You did it 3
You really
times.
did it 3 times,
If you did it like
I was trying
once,
to get to do it once.
yeah.
Okay, but like you can take a picture of yourself and you can call yourself a model. Is that what it is? Because like you do JoJo
If
poses.
you do it 3 times, maybe.
It's Dubai, man. You can be whatever you want.
100%.
City of Breeze.
But also, you mentioned working on videos and all that. What's your criteria when it comes to collaborations? Are you open to just working?
Okay, here's the thing. I feel like for me, when it comes to collaboration, I think I'm blessed right now to have a steady income. So I don't really care about like, working with numbers and whatever. Don't take advantage of that. I will say no if I don't like it. Don't approach me. But I think like, for me to have that flexibility, I do get the flexibility to pick and choose what I want to work with and what I want to play around with. So, for me, like, it's just, I think like the only criteria for me is I can get to experiment and play around with something I haven't done before, so it's actually fun to me. And I absolutely hate when someone comes to me and asks me for something that I've done before. Because like, what's the point? Like, why am I just rehashing something that I've done before? Like, if you want that rehash, take it as a reference. There's so many other people out there who would love to do it, and like, it's okay. But like, if you want to come and work with me, you need to accept the fact that I will go off tangent. I will do something random. I will play around, and it's just part of my DNA and part of my work, and that's just the way it is.
But if the money is right, though.
If the money is right. Hi, Marwan the animator.
Fair, but I mean, to be honest, from a lot of creatives that I've seen in the region, I feel like you're one of the only few that kind of cross collaborates between different industries, right? I've seen you like do like freaks, animator, video. I've seen you like work with Soja, as you mentioned as well. But why do you think?
Actually, sorry. Shout out to Soja, man.
Yeah, shout out.
1 time, 2 times, 3 times.
I can't see it. But yeah, but what do you think as someone who's like the only few doing it? Like, what is your opinion on why this doesn't happen as often in this region?
You know what? I think there's. Oh man, I feel like a lot of people are gonna hate me after this. But I think a lot of egos clash in Dubai. I think a lot of people come to the table with their egos first, and they're too worried that their egos might be bruised. A lot of times when you're trying to work with someone, it's more of like who can influence the idea more. And again, there's no shame in you having an ego as an artist. In fact, I think like that's something very important for you to have. But if you're gonna come into a collaboration, you need to come as a child. You need to come as someone who's willing to play, someone who is willing to share, someone who is willing to take from the other person and give back and like play around with that. Because I feel like if you're just gonna be there, you come in with like the ego and whatever, and you don't want to work with people, like it's not gonna work. Like, and I know like I keep like playing around with like different mediums and like different artists and whatever. I kind of look like the baby of like creativity, because like you find me featuring Marwan on the most random things, but that's what keeps me going, and that's what I like to do. So.
Alright, okay. On a side note, are you willing to take anyone under as a mentor?
1,000%.
Yeah. And what's your criteria for that?
For you to just to be, willing to come in and just do the work. I think for me personally, in 2016, I met a photographer back in Toronto called Ishmael Waterman. And Ishmael Waterman, he saw me take pictures in his studio. He let me use his studio once. And he saw me take pictures and he was like, listen, you have a great eye, but the way that you edit the pictures and the way you approach things is not right. So why don't you come tomorrow and like I'll take you through how he does that. And I actually went the other day and I spent 8 hours with him, and he was willing to spend 8 hours just like to talk to me. And from that experience is like I learned so much, because like at that time, like for you like to spend 8 hours with the photographer and them like just like installing in you all this information, it's not something that like come easily, because YouTube videos that like last 15 minutes is not gonna do that for you.
Yeah.
So I feel like right now it's definitely my responsibility to like try my best to like pass on that knowledge. One of them right here, that's my junior Omar. Shout out to Omar. He spent the time. He sat with me. He listened to me talk. Sorry, Liam.
Too bored.
He spent the time with me, and like we worked together for the past 2 years, 3 years. And you know, you see him grow on his own accord, and it's not because I mentored him, no, because he put in the effort. It's just he found a resource for him, like, to learn from there.
Yeah.
So,
And that's generally like the way that I saw you since the first time that I met. Actually, now looking back at it, I think it's exactly 2 years since the first time I met you, because it was at Sika Arts Fest. You were doing a workshop, right? And essentially, I have a like small story about this as well. It was when we were first starting. I was first starting to explore like the creative scene in Dubai, and I come from an interior design background. And something that I noticed in the region is that if you're in a bubble, if you're in an industry, like they all work separately, which is strange to every other part of the world, because creative industries in general, whether it's music, whether it's art, whether it's photography, fashion, they're all interlinked. Right, and anyone within the scene would know what other person, someone else from that industry is doing. I didn't think that was a thing in Dubai just because I was never exposed to it. And so this was like the start of my journey to actually like start to understand what was happening in Dubai. And so I was like, you know what, let me just go to Sika Arts Fest and see what's happening. Randomly walk in, there's a workshop happening, and this man is presenting over there. And I still remember the picture that you're putting up. It was the one with, I think it was Jamal, like your back, and it was like a blue background.
oh no, that
Was it? It wasn't Jamal?
No, it's
right. It wasn't. Okay. There was no face, so I couldn't.
different black guys. Okay.
Not bad. But anyways, and I still remember, like I was like, because until then, my idea of what, like, you know, designers or art directors were in Dubai was so small, because you're just constantly fed information from outside of the region, where you think that, okay, these people are amazing. Everyone over here, just because you're not exposed to their work, you don't think they even exist. And that's when I was like, shit, this guy's actually dope. Like blew my mind. I was definitely not expecting that, and I still remember I put my hand out. I was like, because I realized you didn't actually put your Instagram in the presentation.
Oh yeah, I did it.
I was like, yo, what's your Instagram? And then he put it up, and I started going through his work. I was like, Jesus Christ, man, there are some like talented people in Dubai. And ever since then, I was like, yo, I need to get this guy on the show, and I've been hounding him ever since then. But like, appreciate you big time for finally making this happen, and like, honestly, just opening up my eyes to what the creative scene is in Dubai.
I'm so glad that I was part of your origin story. That's nice to know. But yeah, man, I mean, just this is a reminder to everyone here in this room. There's so many dope people here. Don't be afraid, like, to walk to people and talk to them. You never know who you're gonna talk to. Just don't be like, hey, what do you do? Like, don't do that. Try to get to know them as a person first, and just, you know, what they do comes next. So,
Or last.
huh?
Yeah, what they do comes last.
What they do comes last. Do not ask that as the first thing.
Ask everything else.
Everything else.
Especially if you're a model, like whatever industry you're in, and you go to an event, please ask what you do last. Because I feel like the moment you ask, oh, what do you do? You're more of asking, okay, so what do you do that I can gain from you, that I can benefit myself? You know. So
No,
it's
but
like,
it also
at least try to get to know the
it also
person.
comes from a place of like, you know, putting someone inside a box.
Exactly.
You ask them what they do, they're like, oh, I guess photography, art director. Okay, he's in that box. That's
Yeah.
it. I'm not gonna try and like talk to him about anything else. That's what he is. If I need something related to that, I'm gonna go to him.
No, but also, you know, speaking of that,
Yeah.
like, you know, approaching people, I've had this issue where I heard that I'm very unapproachable, and I just want to address that right now. I'm a cool guy, you know. If you guys come and say hi, I'll say hi back. I'll smile. I'll do whatever. But I feel like one of the issues is that, like, if you see me every other day, you know, I'll be like in a Batman costume or like, you know, some crazy outfit. And then people are kind of intimidated to like come and say hi to me. And I get that. And I apologize that it comes off that way. But please feel free to come and approach anyone and everyone and say hi. Because you never know where the conversation could go, you know? No matter what they look like, no matter how they're dressed, just come and say hi without putting them in a box or without expecting so much from them. Because I feel like if I was to talk to someone right now, right? I'd have a deeper, more meaningful conversation than if I showed up in like a full Jamal outfit, you know. I feel like the moment I show up there, people are just like, yeah, he's too cool, or like, you know, he makes bank, or like he does this, like he would never speak to me and stuff like that. So not true, I'm not that type of person. Please feel free to approach whoever whenever you say what's up.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Can I just add that even though Jamal might look like he's about to destroy Gotham, he's actually a teddy bear. Do talk to him. He's the loveliest guy.
Yeah.
I adopted him as my son. I love this kid. Just like talk to him. He's not scary. So
Also, quick question. Who said that?
who said what?
Is it the guy with the mask at the bottom?
Oh.
Sounds like something he would say.
No. I've been told this by multiple people that I'm very unapproachable because of the way I dress. You know, that's why today I was like, alright, you know what, I'm not even gonna
Put on a hoodie.
Yeah, I just, you know.
No, but I think it's because people are kind of feeding off of the information that you put for them, right? You as a model, like if the first thing that they say before they meet you as a person is like your page, which is essentially your portfolio as a model, they're gonna get the essence of, oh shit, this guy's like super cool, like I don't know if I should approach him or nothing.
I get that.
And like a lot of people don't understand that this is work in the end of the day. For most creatives, this is work. You gotta create the image based on the clients that you wanna attract. That is it.
I hear that, but I also just hate the fact that the industry is so image based. Because it's like there's so much more to that, and I agree on my part. Maybe I need to do more to show you guys that I'm not the scary guy. Maybe I need to post more content of my daily stuff.
Smile once in a while.
Smile once in a while. Literally my last few posts.
This is turning into like a therapy session.
But at the same time, the industry is very image based and it sucks, but don't let that limit you.
Yeah, I mean, my opinion is it is image based because it is a visual based job. So,
true.
I mean, that's the only communicate the idea, right?
But still, I feel like maybe we could all just put in a little more effort to get to know the people that
You know what? I'm actually gonna tell you. You also need to put more effort into like coming like to a place like this. This is you putting effort and talking to people. I'm pretty sure a lot of people here in this room never heard your voice before.
Yeah.
They've only seen you just like do one of those and that's it. So like this is an opportunity for you to show them how much of a teddy bear you are.
Yeah.
Well, that's not like
I mean, to be honest, like from a personal situation, the first time I heard you speak is when you asked the question to Anti-Muse one of the Karak events. And that's what it's like, shit, okay, this is what it sounds like.
No, agreed. I definitely need to do a lot on my part to, let people know that I am a normal guy too, I do take the metro as well.
Yeah.
Like, shit. Taxis are normal too.
How many people over here actually heard Jamal speak before? Like, put your hands up.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's like,
Wow.
I don't think there's a lot, yeah.
Not at all. Not at all.
Okay, maybe I need to,
Talk more.
Alright, you know what? For every single person who put their hand down, after this, I'm gonna come to each and every single one of you and say what's up.
There you go.
Full on conversation,
We're gonna set up a booth at the back over there. So
Everything's
that
good, right there.
My name's Jamal. Fair enough, but the thing that, we do want to flip the script a little bit. If you guys have any questions you want to ask them, any topics you want to bring up within the industry, just put your hands up. I can't see, so someone is going to have to tell me someone's hands up.
But like I said, keep in mind,
I
it's
see
crazy
yell.
out better.
Yeah,
Go wild.
Is someone's hand? Okay,
Yeah.
I think, cool.
Hi.
Hi.
I just have one question, and I feel like the people that don't know you in the room, I know most people do know you, but the ones who don't, for instance, I didn't know you have a 9 to 5. Like, I see you around, and you've been meaning to like have a proper conversation, but you know how it is at these events. But for me, like, I get that, like, amazing conversation, but I still don't have the context of what your day-to-day job is. So my question is, what's the 9 to 5 you're talking about, first off?
I'm dead. Okay. The funny thing is, I feel like the 9 to 5 is the last thing I talk about ever. Like, I have a LinkedIn page, I hope no one finds it. But, so I'm an art director. I work at a marketing agency. Basically, my 9 to 5 looks like client comes to me with a problem. Hey, we have this product, what can we do about this? And then I create the advertisements that sometimes comes on TikTok and you skip on them, or the campaigns that like are out there. So that's what I do. But this is why I don't talk about it, because I don't want I don't want to say this.
I get it. I just feel like, for me, like, I came here today, I saw both of you guys were going to speak, and I was like, these are two people that, you know, I admire and respect very much, and I wanted to see what you guys have to say and about your journey as well. So I think my second question would definitely be, where from here on out, like in the next 5 years, like where do you see yourselves, what do you see yourselves doing? Since both of you came here with a completely different idea, and is that in Dubai or is it outside of Dubai?
I'll let you go first.
I feel like I know you touched on this earlier, but yeah, I have no idea. You know, I'm literally just letting God direct me to wherever He wants to take me, and I'm just like, I've gotten to a point where what I'm doing right now, this career I've been given, it's not something I chose, but it was more of something that was handed to me, and because of that, I feel like I don't necessarily have any right to say I wanted to go this way, considering it's not something that, you know, I personally chose and like, okay, this is what I want to do. This is, you know, when I grow up, I want to be a model. So for me, it's wherever God directs me, that's where y'all will see me in like 5-10 years.
I think for me, the next 5 years, I've been playing it extremely safe for the past 3 to 4 years. As much as people see the freelance and the experimentation and whatever, I haven't put myself in a position where I can be within more power, I want to say. I want to take more risks. I want to actually create something and put it out there to the world and see how people perceive it. If it fails, if it doesn't fail, I don't care. I just want to be in a position where I put myself out in different forms and see where it goes. Go for it.
Hi.
Hi.
Okay, so as someone who kind of witnessed the way the creative industry shifted with the rise of social media and how it changed things for the creative industry, I'm curious as to how you guys feel, specifically maybe Marwan, because you kind of dabble in the creative industry as a 9 to 6, but also the creative industry as like a social media, if anyone knows what I mean. Like, there's two worlds of the creative industry. So I was just curious as to how you feel like the social media world influenced creativity, the definition of creativity. Has that shaped the way you view your own creativity and how you create? Has it helped you collaborate?
Okay. I feel like the thing is with like social media, I don't know if people know, but I'm 33 years old, so I've been around.
Damn.
I know. So I actually saw Instagram get created and Facebook and all these things. Like my frontal lobe was like developed enough for me to remember those. I feel like for someone who saw these shifts and whatever, I didn't have a lot of context of what creativity can do for me prior to social media. But then once social media happened, I figured out like, okay, cool, I can do this, I can do that, I can talk to this type of person, this type of person exists, that type of person exists. So I had the opportunity to like actually see, like talk to people who are like-minded. And at the same time, another drawback for me is that prior to social media, like I didn't have a blueprint for creativity. People did not put out like what it's like to be an art director or a copywriter or a photographer or whatever. Like people had no idea what that entails. So I feel like with the past like 10 years, we had this opportunity for you to actually have a blueprint. You have people who know exactly what a content creator is. That's something that did not exist 10 years ago. So there's all these blueprints that you can just say, go to a person and be like, okay, I want to be like this person. This is what I need to do to get there. So I feel like social media right now is something that you need to be viewed as a blueprint, not just as a place for you to like DM and talk to people. So that's how I view it.
Yeah, but just to touch on that, you know, as much as it is supposed to be viewed as a blueprint, I think you need to keep in mind that you're still your own person, you know. So you can't go out. I mean, you can, you know, go out there and be like, okay, I want to be like Jamal, and literally do exactly what I've been doing. Even
Don't do that.
Don't do that, because I feel like at some point you get to a point where you are, you know, you don't know who you are. And that's because you've been trying to be someone you're not for so long that you forgot what it is to be you. So I would say, find out what it is to be you, then find a blueprint, and then take whatever it is that you like from that and make sure that it collides with your world, and then you can put it out.
And I think it's like super important, and that's one of the reasons why we started doing what we're doing on here, right? Because we do believe that showcasing the blueprint is an important part of developing other people's journeys.
Yeah.
Because again, we're in a space where we're constantly being fed information from outside of the country, right? And so whenever you're looking at, let's say, Salini memory, for example, right? You would never think that is achievable for someone that actually practices that professional here, because you keep hitting that ceiling and you're not influenced by people in a way that is of that caliber. So being able to actually provide a platform where, you know, people can actually share their journey actually gives people a lot more perspective in terms of, oh shit, actually this is possible here. But the only thing is, if I want to achieve that over here, I have to do things slightly differently than if someone in America were to do it themselves. You know?
No, I was just gonna say that I think with social media it's important, like, there's a level of expectation of perfectionism, so I feel like the fact that you guys are on here and talking about how you actually do have to put in the work rather than glamorizing the output is very important. And the fact that you guys are kind of saying like you have to fail and fail publicly to some extent to show people that it's okay to fail in an age where, you know, you're expected to be perfect, you're expected to kind of get it right from the get-go. Like, not everybody's Rihanna, you know? Like, not everyone's gonna get the shades right from the beginning. But I think, yeah, like, failing is important, so I'm glad that you guys put that out there.
And can I just address one thing? You guys probably have seen me already, or you're gonna see me already. There's a video that's circulating around TikTok of an ad that I used to do 3 years ago. You know, that's fading publicly. Like, that's, if you look at that video and you see me now, you would not believe at what you see. So if you see that, please don't send it to me. Laugh and yeah.
Please send it to me. I will put it on our story so that you guys can actually all, you know, be able to see it. Yeah.
Where?
I mean, you have the mic, so you might as well go.
Can I just?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll pass it on, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, look, I think we had this discussion last time here, and it was about when, like, you've started freelancing and then you've now working full time, and like, I think creatives, and you mentioned now, Jamal, that like, you didn't honestly be a model, really. It wasn't like your thing. So it's always that kind of crossroads where there's something you're passionate about, but then there's something you're good at that you can earn an income from. And they're not always the same thing. And here's the thing, like, working professionally, I'm sure you guys know, like, you work professionally at something, that can sometimes take away from the passion, because it's not always your ideas, it's not always what it's like your client, target, whatever. So like, out of curiosity, what are some of the other things that you feel, that you could do as a career, or even just like some other interests outside of what you do, and like your idea, you know what I mean? I'm gonna give it like.
Sure. I
Bob the
mean,
Builder.
listen, I feel like, this is gonna sound cheesy as hell, but like, I wanted to be a rapper, man. Like, I wanted to be a rapper, and like, I feel like it's just not me. Like, I can't be on stage doing what rappers do. It's so difficult. It takes a lot of breath work, and you have to be always on and all the time. So shout out to rappers, shout out to Soldier one more time. But I feel like because I couldn't do that, that ended up me being always working closely with musicians and artists, just because like if I'm not gonna be the person on stage, I just wanted to be part of the process and doing what I'm good at, and that's where I'm at now.
Yeah, I feel like for me, there was a time, please don't hate me for this, but there was a time where I used to say being an influencer is an easy job. I felt like anyone could do it, I felt like it's not something that's like, it would drain you or it would take away your energy and stuff like that. Of course, my perspective on that has changed, and definitely not everyone can be an influencer, but for me, I've just found myself longing to do anything with my hands, So, for example, whether it's building or like having a farm or like,
Let's go, bro.
like literally most random shit. Or being actually, I was just about to mention that, being a soldier. So you guys don't know this. Growing up, I went to military school, and with everything that happens in military school, I was like, I hated it at first because the bullying was just insane. Like, we had the police around our school every single day because of the violence, And I felt like, because I saw all the, that side of me, like, when I left, I was like, I appreciated it more. And I was like, okay, I actually want to be a soldier, I actually, maybe want to join the SWAT or something.
You were like, I love violence. Like,
I was always a peacemaker, but yeah.
oh, okay.
Oh, hi, hello.
We can't see you. We can't see you.
I'm over here,
I still can't.
Okay.
Oh, right.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
There we go.
on the beanbags.
All right, cool.
So, just to give you some background, you mentioned earlier that you were drawing when you were 4 years old.
Yeah.
So, me as someone who is an engineer, so I'm an engineer. So I'm trying to find another outlet for myself. So I picked up photography like a few years ago. So my question is basically, how much creativity is it innate, and how much is it a skill that you could actually develop?
Okay, I'm very glad that you asked that question, because I feel like for photography is that you always come to it with your mind set on all these rules that you keep hearing, rule of thirds, the golden whatever spiral thingy, and like all these things. I don't even know the name of them at this point, but you have all these things that you are supposed to know, but I feel like for you to get creative, you need to figure out how you can break each single rule that you know of and how you can be different. Because if you're gonna go in there and like you're just gonna follow the rules that people who, in books put like, oh, if you're gonna take a picture of a person, make sure it's eye level, make sure the exposure is this, makes yada yada yada. You're just gonna take a picture like everyone else took a picture of them. For me personally, whenever I approach a gig for photography, the first thing that I try to do is I try to show the person in front of me from a perspective that they've never seen before. I want you to look like a giant. I want you to look, bigger than life. I want you to look smaller. I want you to be contextualized differently. And I feel like when you can approach photography as a way for you to present the person in front of you in a different way, in a way they haven't seen before and the world hasn't seen before, that's where you can find like these little pockets of creativity.
Yeah, just to touch on that, I feel like you need to know the rules to break them. Any more questions?
Yes. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I have
more question, but before proceeding to that question, I'm going to say that finding Marwan's page in 2018 on Instagram was a pivot point in my life. From a very dark place to a reason to have a new hobby. That's one. Two, in an industry where everyone can be Rihanna, what would you in an industry where everyone can be a Rihanna, everyone is an influencer, everyone is a supermodel, everyone is a great model, yada yada yada, what would you add to the industry and what would you take away?
You want to take away Rihanna? Is that what you Okay. Elaborate on your question before I answer one.
From my own opinion, I do believe that we lack a lot of art. And I'm asking a question to an artist. What would you add to the industry here in Dubai?
Okay, cool. I think what a lot of people are afraid to do is put out their thoughts or their for them like to express themselves in a way that is genuine to themselves. A lot of times what happens is that we try to express ourselves or put these little boundaries to our art just for it to be more consumable, just because we're worried about likes, because we're worried about like, is this brand is going to be okay with me? Is this going to be okay with me? And I feel like that is such a hindrance to your own progress as an artist. Because for you, if you want to grow as an artist, which is what's gonna help the industry you're in grow as well, you need to be able to expand your vocabulary as an artist. You need to be able to say more things as an artist. You need to express your feelings, no matter how dark they are, no matter how beautiful they are, no matter how different they are. You are a person. You should express your way however you feel is okay. And you shouldn't worry about what the industry is going to worry about. You are Rihanna in my eyes, so don't worry about it.
Wait, so does that mean that, do you need to be attached to a brand for you to succeed?
Not at all. Not at all. I think the idea for you to curate yourself, I feel like the idea for you to curate yourself so a brand can approach you is the worst way that you can hinder your own progress, because at that point you are literally following their guidelines, their colors, their tones, how they say things, how they put together a picture. There's no reason for you to bound yourself by a certain brand. If that's what the bag is, I respect it, but for you to grow as an artist and for you to grow the industry you're in, break those.
Yeah, and I think just to add to what you were saying as well, I mean, of course, we are living in a country where you don't really have 100% freedom of speech in comparison to other democratic spaces, right? And so, I think that would be one of the bigger restrictions in terms of why art in this region does not actually break any boundaries. Because you do not have the freedom to do that. But the things that, in the end of the day, it's a challenge. As an artist, as a designer, whenever you put up with restrictions, it's all about finding how do you bend that in such a way where you're giving out the message that you want to send, but also not ending up in prison, I guess. But yeah.
No, I hear it, but I feel like what I have to say to that is, yes, as much as we're limited because of the area we're in, you can look at it that way, or you can look at it this way, where it's more of like, okay, so in the region I'm in the country I'm in, everyone is doing this type of content, or everyone is taking pictures this type of way, everyone is doing this type of way. What you could do is go ahead and look at that and look at what they're not doing, and from there that's where you get your bag. Because I feel like Dubai is really a place where you can be able to do a lot of things and get paid for it if you do them really well. Especially if you're one of the only ones doing it. Because there's so many people doing the same thing. Like, you'll find so many people literally doing the exact same job, that there are so many vacancies in other areas that you're just not seeing. So I'll say maybe just like, look at what everyone else is doing, and look at what they're not doing, and start doing that. That's where you get your bag.
And so, just to add one last thing, art does not have to offend all the time. You can express yourself and not be offensive. It's not a requirement. So that's one last thing.
Hi guys, I
Hello.
just have a question.
What's up?
My name is Jamal. I work as a creative director.
Shout out to you.
Just recently came to the country actually, and today I just got to know this awesome community. Yeah, from my friend here.
Welcome.
Thank you so much. I just want to ask you, Marwan, where do you get your inspiration from in this country? Because I've been looking at like going around actually, and I've been looking for life. I can't see it. For example, I lived in Egypt for like 4 years, okay? And I've been creating content in Egypt. And actually, before I go to Egypt, if you guys, anyone have watched an Egyptian movie or anything, believe me, once you step down on the streets in Egypt, you're gonna feel every drama and jokes on the streets. Same the way as Sudan. Yeah,
Shout out to Sudan one more time.
Yeah, shout out to Sudan. Yeah, we need to mention the war that we're going through, bro. Yeah. So anyway, this is what I'm asking you. Like, what is the content here in UAE and what is authentic so we can get inspiration from and like reflect it in our work? Yeah.
That's an extremely good question because I feel like for me personally, I struggled a lot with finding inspiration here, mostly because like everywhere you go, it kind of looks the same and whatever. And you know, for someone like I've been to Egypt, I know exactly what you mean. I understand the texture in the street, I understand the texture in everywhere that you go, so I fully understand it. But for me here personally, where I started to find more inspiration, I started to find it in people. I feel like Dubai is one of the few places where you have people who came from so many different backgrounds, for so many different experiences, that you can actually get to like feel something different just from having a conversation with someone. And it goes beyond just talking to them about, you know, what do you do or whatever. It's just like hearing them and their experiences and what they went through. You're gonna find some type of inspiration for you through that story. So I feel like for me personally, that's where I draw the most inspiration these days. Yeah, what's up? Oh. Okay. I promise you, Omar will listen to your question. I promise.
Sorry to interrupt
We
that.
just have one more question, like just putting it out there, you know? Fine.
Right.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, it's not really a question. I just wanted to add on to what you were saying and kind of to your question. So, if I may say, anyone who's new in Dubai, I think this is a place where there's a lot of different people from different places. Like me personally, I'm from Belgium. I've lived in a lot of cities there, but I've met a lot of people from different countries here that I've never met in Europe. So I think for me personally, what brings most inspiration and brings my creativity to a new high is having conversations with people. So listening to people, what people have to say, you know, coming to things like this, looking at people's work, hearing people's work, even if it's not necessarily your kind of thing, but seeing the differences and also tapping into not just the creative thing, but also culturally, even if it's not your own thing. So if I would say, listen and talk and have conversations. So sorry, I just wanted to add that.
No, 100%, 100%.
Have your
Genuine
question now.
conversations though.
One more question and you guys can listen to my piano, I promise you. So.
That's good. So I wanna touch on the 9 to 5 for a second. Jamal, would you count your agency work as 9 to 5? That's the first kind of mini question. It's like, would you count your agency work as like team?
Don't look at me. I don't know.
Because like essentially what my question is to everyone right on the panel is, do you feel like that 9 to 5 or 9 to 6 or whatever is like hinders your creative, or do you feel like it expands it? You know what I mean? Because you obviously work within a box that we were talking about, and yeah, I just want to know.
I got you. I think as someone who poured a lot of energy towards my 9 to 5, just because I wanted to, go further and further and further. Hold on, let me just scan the room, make sure no one from my age. Okay, cool. I really put a lot of effort into it because I wanted to grow more and more. But that does not mean that I shouldn't put more effort into myself as a person, because by the end of the day, my work or my art is something that does not come from a brief. It comes from like a feeling or expression or whatever, something that I felt that I wanted to express. So as much as a 9 to 5 is something that takes away from my time, and this is something that even the hat can touch on, is like some days, like the second I come back from work, I go back to work, and it's just like me working on my own projects. And sometimes I would have to even sacrifice sleep just because like I want to get something done. So never let a 9 to 5 stop you from doing the things that you want to do. Never ever let a label stop you from doing something that you want to do. And even if you're not good at it, just do it. No one cares. It's just pixels. No one's gonna die. Do it.
And to answer your question, is my agency a 9 to 5? I feel like being a freelancer is a 24/7 thing, so it's not a, yes, working with my agency can seem like it's a 9 to 5, but, because you never know when they're gonna text you or whatever, but at the same time, because I freelance as well, it's more for a 24/7 type of thing, so there's no days off, I barely have, I barely hang out with people, not by choice, but mostly because of work, and especially when it starts to pile up, when it's a good season, it's like, I just don't really have the time to go out and enjoy my time, as outside of work. But when I say that, I don't say it from a point where I'm saying I hate what I do, or what I do drains me, but I love what I do. That's why I'm able to spend 24/7 in it. I wouldn't have it any other way.
We don't sleep, bro.
Yeah.
We don't sleep. Keep working.
That's all. I remember even the recent work that I dropped, it was just more of I must have spent I don't know, a couple weeks on it, and I wasn't sleeping, I barely get any sleep. And that's by choice, because I'm working and I'm just yeah, I need to get this done. So, but again, it differs with different people, But yeah, it's a 24/7 type of thing.
Okay, can we do it?
Do what?
One question for Auntie.
I feel like, because he was talking about how you really want to ask a question.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys can see him, but he's the scariest thing ever.
Do you mind coming in front?
Yeah, please.
You don't want to ask? Are you sure?
Sure?
Go ahead.
Alright, cool. He's gonna start from band 4.
Hey.
Alright, okay. I'm gonna ask differently, because most of my questions is from Jack. So do you guys think people appreciate us for who we are or what we do?
Hey.
This guy's
Go ahead.
The first thing I would say to that is, you have to believe in yourself, right? If you don't believe in yourself or whatever you're doing, you can't expect anyone else to believe in you. So if you don't value yourself or value your time, you can't expect anyone else to value it. And when it comes to how other people perceive us, you don't really have control over that. But again, I feel like it all just comes back to yourself and how you view yourself and how you value yourself. Because if you don't view yourself or value yourself, you cannot expect other people to value you. No matter what you do, you cannot expect people to like your work or like who you are if you don't even know who you are and if you don't even know what you stand for. So I feel like you have to be good with you first. You have to know how you view yourself, and you have to be confident in that for you to be able to be okay, so this is who I am, this is what I do, and as for how people view me, I have no control of that, but I will control how I take it. That's my take on it.
Okay. First of all, great question. I thought you were gonna hate, but that was a good question. I think really need to separate between a transactional relationship and an actual friendship. Like I think like for us here, like that get blurred all the time. But by the end of the day, you need to be able like to say, all right, this is transactional. I'm here for you as X, Y, and Z, and you're here for me as X, Y, and Z, and that's okay. You don't need to tell me about the weather. We didn't need to be friends. That's okay. I don't need to be your friend at all. But at the same time, I feel like I can be a friend of a person, but we can work on a specific level, and that like it just for me like I need to be like, okay, this is transactional, and this is vibes, and this is friendship, and I'm definitely your friend if you want.
So don't ask me for money, bro. Everything you're doing is for free. That's it.
Yeah, just understand the boundaries that, you know, of whatever relationships that you have, whether it be personal or like work-wise. Just understand where you stand and you're good to go.
Yeah, 100%, man. But to be honest, you guys have been amazing. Just such a blessing to the space, to everyone that's been on. Listening to this, man. We're gonna have to cut it short because we have actually some people with us getting
Piano, it's coming, I promise.
We got artists performing, got all of that happening, but stay in. I'm gonna pass the mic over to Ben Caesar, who's gonna walk us through the rest of the night. But yeah, if you guys wanna know more about them, feel free to follow them on their Instagrams. You wanna spell your